All right, we're live and looks like our TA Brandon will be joining as well to
Okay,
take over for us.
great. All right.
Yep. So it's live stream. We're waiting for Brendan. I'm gonna make you the host back. You can make him co-host when he joins.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thank you, Smart, for having me.
All right, Scott, have a great class and let us know if you need anything.
Okay, sounds
All
great.
right,
Thanks, Ben.
of course. Bye.
All righty. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Just getting set up here. Okay. All right. Giving it just a few minutes to make sure everybody gets in. We did have a lot of people signed up for today. Hey, Terry.
Hey, Scott.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get us started. We may have a couple of people still to pop in, but hopefully they won't miss much at all. My name's Scott. For those of you whom I haven't met before, happy to be here with you this afternoon. At least it's afternoon on the East Coast. You may be on another coast. So if that's the case, good morning. I am happy to walk you through just some basics on the iPhone. I will let you know that we do have several iPhone classes on GetSetUp. So there may be some things that you might be wondering about. I may let you know that that is covered in another class, but I will try to get you moving on the basics. Before we go any further, I just want to get a feel for people's experience with the iPhone. Are anybody using an iPhone for the very first time, brand new, never used it before? Or most people have had an iPhone for a while? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I will get us started with a few introductory slides. I will be sharing my phone screen today as well. So that way you'll be able to kind of walk along with me if you want on your own phone. And I will expand this a little bit. Okay. So just a little about me. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. I'm a former journalist. I spent the last part of my career leading communications initiatives at a nonprofit organization. I also do some freelance photography and writing now, and I do teach a lot of photography classes on GetSetUp. I'm here because I really enjoy the interactive learning on GetSetUp. Love meeting new people and also seeing familiar faces, and just really love this community building mission that we're on. And a little about GetSetUp. We are here to help you learn useful skills from people like you so you can do wonderful things out there with technology, with your health, and so forth. We learn from each other. Ideally, we can see each other on camera. If you're comfortable with that, we'd love to see you just to boost the camaraderie here. I am recording this class for you. So if you would like a recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. I'll have that on the screen again before we close today. But that's where you can send just a request for the class and the date, so we send you the right one. If you're joining by live stream, welcome. Happy to have you watching along. The best way to actually participate in a class, ask questions right away, is to join us by registering. So I encourage you to do that sometime. And lastly, GetSetUp is not paid to promote any specific products. So today's class is not meant to be an endorsement of Apple or the iPhone, just purely educational. So what I want to hopefully have you be able to do by the time we get done with the class is know how to find just some basic information about your phone and about iOS, which is the operating system that all Apple mobile devices operate on. And we'll talk about several ways to kind of control your availability, silence your phone ringer, things like that. How to navigate the various screens you have on your phone, and then we'll talk about managing your apps. If there's anything else in particular that you really wanted to learn about your iPhone, something you're struggling with, feel free to drop that in the chat. You'll find all of those controls at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're on an iPhone or an iPad, it might be at the top of your Zoom screen, and you can just open the chat and drop questions in there. And I will be stopping periodically to answer questions as well. If we can hold questions until I do that, that'd be great, just so we keep a good flow with the class. So there are going to be different experiences that you all have as we go through this, because the physical features of the iPhone have changed as the device has evolved over the years. I think the iPhone was first introduced in like 2007 or something like that. Up until, say, the iPhone 8, and I think the iPhone SE still looks like this. You have this casing around the screen along with the home button here, which you use to control a lot of the features on your phone. If you are using an iPhone 10 or later, all this front real estate is taken up by the touch screen. There is no home button. So everything you do is using this touch screen, other than turning your ringer off, turning your volume up and down, and putting your phone to sleep or turning it off. So most of you are probably familiar with this. The ringer's right up here, then the volume, home. Since most of you seem to be experienced iPhone users, or at least know the basics of it, you probably are familiar with all this. But let's talk about the iOS updates. Sooner or later, if you've had an iPhone for a while, you've probably received a message like this. This is a software update that Apple pushes out. They push out these updates periodically, and the updates usually include improvements to the way your phone operates. It might include some fixes for anything that they found to be buggy in the software. So whenever those come in, you are then prompted to, as you can see down here, download and install that update. That's a two-part process. So you download it first, and then it has to go through an installation process on your phone. So when you receive these, it's a good idea to do that update. Your phone essentially, after it's downloaded and during the installation, it more or less reboots. And sometimes that takes a little while. Let me get that off my screen. Okay. So, whoops. So let me open I grabbed the wrong thing there, but I'm going to open up my phone screen and start walking through some of this. Okay. So when you go into your settings on your phone right here, you'll just scroll down to where it says general. Now, I know sometimes people, I've asked them what model of iPhone they have, and they may not know because it may have been a gift from somebody. But here we'll tell you a few details about your phone. And you can see here, mine is an iPhone 11 Pro Max. And the software I'm using is version 14.4.1. And I think I have an update waiting for me to install onto my phone. But where you see here, it says software update. I can download and install this right here. So that's all there is to it. If I want to automate that, I can do that. For some reason, that hasn't been happening a lot lately. I don't know why. I haven't done any research to find out if this is something that's happening across the board, but I taught this last week and somebody else told me that they weren't getting their automatic updates, even though they had it set to do that. But when it is working, you can set this so that when you're at home, the update will automatically download to your phone. Then all you have to do is charge your phone that night and it will automatically install into your phone. So if you want to go through that process of not having to sit and wait for your phone to first download the software, then install it, and sometimes that can take up to a half an hour, you can just set it to do all of this automatically. And that is generally how you update your software. I'll stop there very quickly and see if we have any questions. Any at all? Okay. Okay. So there are some settings that you can use on your phone to control how people reach you. If you go into settings, you can scroll down to, first of all, let's go to sounds and haptics. So a few things you can do here just to control your ringer. I have mine set to vibrate when I've silenced my ringer, which can be really handy if you are expecting a phone call, but you're in a movie theater or you're in a meeting. You don't want the phone to start ringing and have other people in the theater giving you dirty looks or anything like that. This will just vibrate. And so you won't miss a call if you have to step out of the room to take it. I also have it set to vibrate even when it rings. The reason I do that is because I have lousy hearing when I am in crowded spaces, like say a train station or a grocery store, or shopping mall, something like that. I don't hear my phone ring a lot of times. And so if I have that vibration, I carry my phone in my pocket, so I'll at least hear it or feel it vibrate, even if I don't hear it ring. So those are some settings you can use. Of course, you have your ringtones down here, and you can select from any of these. Okay, and you also have the option of setting your phone to a do not disturb so that you won't even get that vibration or anything like that. At certain times, you can either schedule it or just set it manually. Any calls that will come in, you will not hear. Any texts that come in, you will not hear, and they won't pop up on your screen. I'm doing this right now because I am going to be teaching on GetSetUp during these hours. I don't want a call to come in the middle of the class, especially since I'm sharing my phone screen. So I've got it scheduled. As soon as 7:05 hits, this will turn off and I'll be able to get calls and texts coming through again. Now, when that happens, when you do have do not disturb on, if somebody wants to leave you a voicemail, they can do that. And the texts will come in. You just won't have them popping up on your screen in the middle of doing something on your phone, which in this case I have set. So you also have the option of allowing calls to come in from people that you have deemed in your contact list as favorites, if you want to do that, so that no matter what, you won't miss their call. And if you don't know about making somebody a favorite, if you go to a contact list and you scroll down and look for somebody, you can tap on their name and just click add to favorites, and they will now be in your list of favorite contacts. So with that, if Alicia calls me when my do not disturb button is on, and I do have her listed, and I do have it set so that favorites will come in, I'll get a call from her. And the other thing you can do if you really want to be reached in an emergency is to set this on to repeated calls, which means that if somebody calls you and they can't get through because you have do not disturb on, you can, or they can call within 3 minutes, and the second time that call will go through. So you can set it so that will happen. Okay. All right. And any questions on that do not disturb or anything else with your ringer? And you can feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question too. None? Okay. Okay, well, you also have something that I did not know I had for a long time. Somebody introduced this to me on a camping trip once when it was night. I needed to get up and go to the restroom, which was a good walk away. And I needed a flashlight because it was pitch dark. And I said, I wish I had a flashlight. Somebody said, well, why don't you just call it up on your phone? And I didn't know how to get to that. Well, there is a control center on your phone that allows you to get to some tools really quickly. So if you are on an iPhone SE or an iPhone 8 or earlier, it may be that you'll want to go down to the bottom of your touch screen and just very gently swipe up. If you have a phone like this, an iPhone 10 or later, where the whole front of the phone is the screen, you can go up to the corner and swipe straight down, like I'm going to do now. And sometimes it takes me a couple times. There we go. So this is the control center. Here I have instant access to, number one, I can control the brightness on my screen, the volume on my phone. And I have tools down here like a flashlight, which I can turn on right away if I need it. Here is a timer. I've got a calculator. I've got an alarm clock, or quick access to my alarm clock. A lot of these are apps on the phone. This just gets me to them very quickly. Here is my do not disturb for driving, which I didn't talk about. I may go back to that. And then I've got a magnifier here. So if I click on that, I can say that I've got some text that's really small. I'm trying to read. This will magnify it for me. Sometimes on pill bottles or something like that, that can come in handy. And you can customize that control center. If you go to your settings, you can go to control center. That will be right below general. And as you see here, I've got all my controls up here. All of these are appearing in my control center. If I want to take one of these off, I can do that just by hitting the subtract button there at the side and then clicking remove. It goes back down here. I can add it again at any time if I want. And say I want to get quick access to my camera. I can go and click on this, just press on this thumb sign or plus sign here. And it goes up into my control center. So you may, I don't know if anybody's having trouble getting that to come up. It takes a little while to get the hang on just how to swipe to get the control center to come up. But after a while, it starts to feel natural.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have an iPhone 8,
Mm-hmm.
and on that part where you did the swipe up for the flashlight,
Mm-hmm.
it did not have a magnifier on it. But then when I went to the control center, I see where it has magnifier.
Yeah.
How can that be put on that swipe up?
Yeah. So all you need to do is open that. Whoops, wrong place. So the magnifier is down here probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just click on this, on the plus sign that is next to that one, and it will go up here. And then it'll be in your control center.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions on the control center? Of course, you have your display and brightness right here too, right under control center. And you've got two settings there. So this is on light, and it looks like this when it's dark. You can have that setting if you prefer to have white text on a black background. And I don't know why I do this. I just decided to do it, but you can make it automatic. So this goes over to dark at nighttime. And so right now it's set to be light until the sun goes down, and then it'll go into this dark mode. One other thing that I find really handy is the night shift. And what that does is something that you may have discovered if you've been on your phone late at night. I don't know if this happens to a lot of people, but I know it happens to me. I can't fall asleep. And that is caused by all that blue light from the phone screen coming into my eyes. That actually, science has shown that really messes with your circadian rhythms. So to alleviate that a little bit, Apple came up with this night shift that you can schedule to go on. Say I have it scheduled for 9 o'clock and it turns off at 7 a.m., but it warms my screen. It gives them more of a warm hue and cuts down all that blue light so that I'm not having that sinking into my eyes and tricking my brain into thinking it's daytime so that I have trouble sleeping.
How do you set those? Because mine says from sunset to sunrise, but how do you actually set it for a time?
So if you go into night shift, right here where it says from and to, you can open that up and just set the hours that you want. I've got it on a custom schedule, but you can also just have it sunset to sunrise and it'll just sort of.
Oh, I see. You have to go to custom schedule to be able to change the time.
Right, right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, before I move on, any other questions I can answer so far? No? Okay. So after you've been using an iPhone for a while, you may, if you're like me, start to accumulate quite a few apps. And I will be the first to admit that I am kind of an app hoarder. I've had an iPhone since about 2009 maybe, and I have gone through a lot of apps during that time. Right now, I've got probably about 3.5 pages worth of apps on here on my home screen. And I will tell you that that's cleaned up. At one point, there were like 8. And I didn't really know a lot of the things you could do to manage your apps at the time. So every time I needed an app, I knew I had it. I knew I had purchased it or just downloaded it for free. And I'm trying to find it. And I'm going back and forth. Where is that app? Where is that app? It was maddening, but I didn't have to do that, it turns out. There are a lot of ways that you can manage the apps on your screen and how you interact with them. So one of them is to just, a lot of times what I'll just do is swipe. This is the first page of my home screen, and I'll just swipe all the way right. And you'll see up here that I have a search field. So let's say I want to look at my Google Photos account. I just type in Google, all my Google apps show up here. I didn't even have to type it all the way out to see the one I wanted. So just a quick search can get you to the app you need. You also have, if you swipe left all the way, keep turning the pages till you think you're on the last one, swipe left one more time, and you will come to your app library. And here is where all of your apps are. It's sort of like a bookstore or library where you've got sections, right? So here are all of my creativity apps. I have a lot of photo editing apps on my phone. So they all go in here. Anything related to money or productivity would be here. To open this up, I would just need to go down to this corner area, the bottom right of each square, and click on that, and it opens up all of those apps. And then I just press my thumb on my screen real quickly, and it goes back to the full library. And it does that with your, say, your streaming media, Netflix and Disney Plus, things like that. And YouTube, I think, is on there. At the same time, you see here, there still is a search engine or search field up here. If I press on that, it brings up all my apps in alphabetical order, with the alphabet here at the side. So if, say, I wanted to get to anything related to Google, I'd just go down there and I'd be in the Google app. I have a lot of Google apps, but I'd be able to get to those real quickly. And you can always just type the app again in here to get what you're looking for. So plenty of ways to find an app that you're looking for. And if you want to clean up your home screen a little bit, you can remove some of these app icons from your phone screen or from your home screen. They'll still be in your app library. They just won't be cluttering up your home screen. So to do that, let's see, you can press on anywhere on your screen, just keep your thumb on it for a minute or finger, and it'll start to do this. You see everything wiggling around, and there are these little subtraction signs here. If I want to remove something from here, I can just go to click on the little subtraction sign here, and I can either remove it from my home screen, or I can delete the app altogether if I want to just get rid of it, and it'll go. But if I remove it from the home screen, I can still find it by doing a search or by going to my app library. You can also arrange things on here if you want. Here, if I take this app, I'm just gonna set it up to move things around. I'm gonna put my finger right on this icon and just drag it, move it around. If I want to move it to a different page, I can go to the edge of the screen and put it there, and it'll roll over.
I have another question.
Sure.
Like I said, I have the iPhone 8. When going back to that, moving them from your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is shaking, but I don't have that box that comes up to tell you that you show that box that comes up where it says remove or.
Yeah.
So
So,
if I touch my minus sign up there, is it
uh-huh.
gonna disappear all the way, or will it still be in that app library?
Okay, so
Mine look just like that.
yeah, right. So I set it up like that. If I press on the minus sign, what pops,
Mhm.
I get this little option box that pops up here.
Mhm.
And from there, I can either remove from the home screen, then it will go into the app library, but it won't be on the screen anymore. Or
Uh-huh.
I can delete the app. And if I delete the
Altogether.
app, then I've deleted it from my phone.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other questions while we're at a break here?
I have a question, but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I've eliminated some of the apps
Uh-huh.
and I still have 2 pages, however.
Uh-huh.
And there are some that I would prefer to have on the first page and they're on the second page.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to move them from page 2 to page 1?
Sure. Depending on, well, yeah, you can do that easily. Just get everything a wiggling again.
Uh-huh.
And if I want to move this to the previous page, say this is my second page, I want to move it to the first page, I just put my thumb on that app and I drag it over to the edge and it will roll over to
And it needs to be my thumb.
it, your thumb or your finger, either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Did that work?
Not yet.
Okay.
I see it moving,
We'll
but it
try it
doesn't move
later.
all the way over.
Yeah, you just want to slide it right over there to the edge and it may take a second for it to roll over, but if you watch here, I'm sliding over here,
Yeah,
keep sliding until it rolls over.
okay. There, that worked.
Okay, great.
Got it. Thank
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
then conversely, I can move it to the second screen if I want to get something out of the first.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Helpful.
Okay, there's another little trick I'll show you that you can do with your home screen and your apps, and that's to set up certain apps as widgets. So I'm going to do this again. All right, it's not wanting to cooperate. There we go. And I don't know if you caught this, but there's a little plus sign up here, right? So if you press on that, this will open up your widget function. And you have the option of then going down and setting whatever you would like. All these apps down here, I could set up as a widget. So I'm going to do the weather channel here. I'm going to press on that and add that as my widget. So I just put my thumb on or finger on that particular app. Down here, it invites me to add it as a widget. So I do that, and that's what happens. I now have this showing up. This is just convenient. I can just quickly see what the weather is currently, what the forecast is for the day, things like that. And if I decide I don't want that widget, I can just press my finger or thumb on that and hit remove widget. And it disappears. I haven't deleted the app. I've just deleted the widget version of it.
I think I get that.
You want me to walk through that one more time?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, great. So just start your screen. This is basically allowing, when you do this, it's in your screen edit mode. And I go up here to that plus sign in the upper right. And I can do a search if I want. Maybe I want to go and look for something that I want to set up as a wizard or widget. I'm sorry. So how about the news? Maybe I'll set up a news widget. So I'll press on that. And that opens it up. I can hit add widget. And now I've got a top headline that shows up on my screen. So I would just see this periodically throughout the day, whenever, and I'm sure this will change throughout the day. But it's, you know, kind of breaking news, things like that, that would just show up right there. And again, if I change my mind, I just press my finger or thumb on the widget itself, press on that subtraction sign and hit remove, and the widget goes away. Okay. Now, one other thing you may not be aware of is when you close out an app, it's still kind of on in the background. And Apple sets it up that way because they want you to be able to get to your apps real quickly. But if they're operating, sometimes that may take a little bit of a toll on your battery, and you might want to just shut them down. So one way to do that, I think, if you have a home button, so if you're on an iPhone SE or an iPhone 8 or earlier, you just go to that home button and press twice on it. If you're on a phone with just the touch screen in front, you would go down to the bottom of your screen, put your thumb or finger down there and move up, but keep your thumb on, and I have sometimes trouble getting this to work. Yeah, in fact, it's not working. Let me try this one more time. Well, I may have too much sweat or something on my finger, but what should happen is I should just press down, keep my finger on the phone as I move it up, and it will open up all those apps that I've got running in the background, and then I just swipe up to close them out. And I may have to reboot my phone to get that to work. I don't know why that's not working. Yeah, sorry about that. I'd love to demonstrate that, but for some reason, my phone's not wanting to cooperate. But anyway, that's just something if you want to preserve a little bit of battery power during the day. Okay. Well, I got through what I did want to show you. Want to open it up to questions. I know everybody has different needs with their phone, different things they want to do. So I'm going to open it up to see if there's anything else that any of you would like me to show you about the phone. Anything else in the settings or?
Not sure how to phrase this. I had a different phone, an LG, and
Yeah,
I found a application that would monitor volume levels in a room and use it like if I go out to hear music
uh-huh.
to see if the decibels are, too loud. And I mean, I already have some damage from years of going out to listen to music.
Hmm.
And so whether or not to put in my earplugs. And I had it on one night at a little nightclub here in Sacramento. And all of a sudden I looked down at the phone and camera was on. It was, I could see on the screen things that were going on, and realized it was tracking me and tracking where I was located. Is there any way to find out which apps might possibly be tracking you?
Yeah. Yes. So if you go into your settings and I think it's in, well, let me go into, I've got to remember where that is, but there is a place to find that. Okay. All right, location, where are you? I'm trying to remember. This is something I should know, and somewhere in here there is
Is it under privacy?
You're right, it is. Thank
Okay.
you. I just had a blank, I just blanked there for
Oh,
a
I do that all the time.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, you do go under privacy. Here is where you find your location services. And right now you have, if you open it up, I've got it generally set to on, but I also have control here over what apps are tracking me with that. A lot of these are, wanting to follow your location. And a lot of times you want that, say like with some kind of photo app or something, you might want to have it on when you're using it to track where you are, right? Just to document where you've been, but you can also open that up and just click never, or make sure it asks for permission before it starts tracking you anytime you open it up.
Okay.
And that you should see all of your apps on here. I actually had to go through, sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the neck, but I was on a business trip a few years ago in Europe, and I had to turn all of these off because otherwise I was going to get roaming charges. Luckily, somebody told me to do that, or otherwise I would have had one heck of a bill from Verizon. But yeah, so any of these that you're uncomfortable having track you can control that.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where you find it. So yeah, in privacy, just look there and that will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? No? Well, if not, I will. Whoops, went too far. Okay, so just want to give you, as a wrap up, a heads up on some related classes coming up. please know that you'll be getting a summary of the class. Just some of the highlights of what we went over, along with a couple or three links to some additional information that you might want to just have on hand as reference. So that'll be coming right after the class ends. And love it if you could share your experience about the class. If you want to do that, you can do that on Facebook or Twitter. This is our hashtag GetSetUp. You can always just drop a note to Liz on our marketing team. She's always looking for testimonials, things like that. Just to let you know about some related classes coming up. We have a class that talks about some of the safety features on the iPhone and the iPad. We have another class on little iPhone tips and tricks beyond what I was able to go over today, but that gets a lot more into Siri and probably some of the accessibility options and things like that. And then we have a class on the Apple iCloud. That's what you use to back up data that may be sitting on your phone. So if there's anything you want to preserve there, like photographs you've taken or texts that you want to keep or something like that, those would all back up into the cloud. My next classes, I mentioned that I teach a lot of photography classes. I have one coming up today, I believe at 4:30 Eastern on how to take great pictures with your iPhone. If you want to know a little more about how to operate the camera features on your phone, I'll walk through all of those. And later on this evening, I've got a class called The Magic of Photo Apps, and that is all about apps that you can download from either the Apple App Store or the Google Play App Store, and use those to do all kinds of things with your photos, for everything from actually erasing an object from the photo and making it look like it was never there in the first place, to turning your photos into pop art, things like that. So that's a fun class. So
sorry.
Beg your pardon?
Will you be repeating those classes at another time?
Yeah, those are regular classes. We have those at usually once a week at least. So
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll be receiving the class notes, as I mentioned before, and you'll also have some other suggestions for classes you might be interested in here. You can click on View Schedule to look at the entire schedule of classes we've got coming up. And then you can click here to open up our feedback form. If you'd like to leave some feedback, we'd really appreciate it. This form allows you to rate the class and the guide, in this case, me. And you can also add some comments about what you thought of the class, what you liked about it or didn't like about it, what you think might improve it. And then anything that you would like to learn, any classes you don't see us offering that you'd really value if we did, it's something you want to learn, drop that in that field right here. That would be really helpful to us. We are always looking to develop new classes, and the ideas we get from the learner community really help us do that. And lastly, I want to just put out a request to spread the word about learning with GetSetUp. We really want to bring more people into our community and expand our service. We are growing fast and continue to want to grow and be of use to the community we are serving. Also, if you are interested in hosting an interest group on GetSetUp, we do have various interest groups devoted to a specific topic. This could be a one-time thing or ongoing. Just let us know. We be happy to help set that up for you. Then these focus on, say, a specific hobby, a specific topic of interest at help@getsetup.io. That's that email address again. And you can also request a recording of the session by emailing us at that email address. And lastly, if anybody does need any assistance booking another class, I'll stay on for a few minutes afterward. Just let me know if you need help with that. I neglected to introduce my colleague Brandon, who was here from our tech support team. Thank you, Brandon, and sorry for that oversight, but he's available to help too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And one last thing I do want to, let you know about is that I don't know why this is jumping to another class, but we do have I'm just going to close that out. We do have a class to walk you through our new website. If you have been a GetSetUp member for a while and you have noticed the changes in the website, we've updated it. Any help you need navigating it, we do have a class every day. My colleague Marv leads that. It's just a tips and tricks on navigating GetSetUp's new look. So feel free to check that one out. He's been offering that every day, and that will answer any of your questions about some of those changes. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Hope this will get you rolling with your iPhone, and I enjoyed being with you, and I hope to see you at another class soon.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody have a great day.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, all righty.
Scott.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks, bye-bye.